This episode of After Dark is brought to you guys by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, head on over to netflix.com/GamebreakerTV.
I love Netflix. Do you love Netflix? I love...
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to After Dark, the live call-in show where you guys make the show happen by calling in live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. PST. Joining me like he does every week right here in the studio. So if you hear an echo, it's because we got two mics in the studio. The one, the only, Mr. Gary Gannon.
Bing bong! Welcome to the Z Morning Zoo right here on 1017 Smoothest Eorzea style.
Gary, I got a question. Do you love Netflix?
I love Netflix, Mike Shavnit.
That's good. It's good because I think we're going to be talking about it sometime during the show. You and I can talk. And joining us all the way from XIV, Twemo, and finally, the After Dark reunition of the Mike and Mike show.
Yes,
with Mr. Mike Byrne.
Hello, sir. How are you, Mr. Schaffner? It's been a while. Since Derpy, I think.
Since before. Rest in peace, Derpy. Too soon, Byrne. Too soon.
We killed the dragon.
Too soon.
We slew that internet dragon hard. Real quick before we jump into some callers, I want to tell you guys about an awesome competition. Not competition. We got an awesome giveaway.
Awesome? Is it awesome?
It is awesome.
Is it amazing?
It's not amazing. It's just awesome.
Just awesome? It is awesome. It's pretty awesome. I got it.
That's a pretty good qualifier.
It's pretty awesome.
I mean, if I do say so myself, it's so awesome that it's awesome balls. I don't know. Guys, we're giving we have a beta key giveaway for all of you Hearthstone fans out there. We know that keys are very, very limited, and everybody's trying to get their hands on them. So right now, we actually have a giveaway, and if you guys head on over to www.hearthnation.com, you can sign up for our beta key giveaway. So head on over, do so, because we want to give you those keys.
Apparently, people want the Hearthstone beta keys.
It's crazy.
It's quite popular.
It's like people enjoy CCGs.
A long-lost aunt who I haven't talked to in like 16 years called me and was like, "Hey, Gary Gannon, I heard you've got Hearthstone beta keys. Can you send me one?"
You were like, "No,
they're
for the fans
I've never heard of. They're for the internets."
Lay the smackdown on the family. You got to keep that in check.
No, stop emailing me. Stop calling. I'm gonna have to change my number.
All right, well, guys, head on over there to HearthstoneNation.com. Please check that out. A whole bunch of awesome Hearthstone videos and news. So if you guys are really looking forward to that game, be sure to check that resource out. Now, in the meantime, this is a live call-in show, if I've been told. So we might want to take...
I thought it was the Mike and Mike show.
Mike Byrne and Mike Shavnit and some other guy named Gary.
Smooth jazz. All right.
Let's open up the lines and just get this show started.
Sounds of Eorzea.
Oh, God. Caller, please save me from this. Caller, you're
Here's
on
the
the line
sound.
from
Here's the sound.
Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
Evening, I'm Todd from Australia, and my question is, with the new US visa law for League of Legends gamers being considered professional as a sport now, do you think that'll have an effect on esports, isn't it? Esports.
Oh, yes. I think that was
the
huge.
First part of that. What did he say?
About the whole thing about League of Legends players becoming professional sports.
Oh, yes. Yes, being accepted.
Being accepted.
Yes.
Doesn't have to, it's mostly to do with like visas and stuff, right? So they can like, move
it's
through
with
countries
for
and stuff.
people out of America to be able
But
to
it was
come
still
into
awesome.
America.
But it's still like kind of, I don't know. I think the news of that was kind of like, holy shit, like this is like really serious now. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, will it have huge benefit? I guess, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it after that news blurb, but it's still kind of cool that they're just considered professional athletes.
I think a lot of gamers took that as just kind of like a step forward. I don't know if it'll mean anything specifically. It's not going. I don't think it's going to break any sort of ground. But I think that obviously at any point in time,
away. It's like chipping away.
It's like
change.
We're now at least recognized as athletes that like to sit down and do nothing but click buttons. Pretty athletic, if I do say so myself. But I think it is a step in the right direction.
What do you feel about that, Byrne? Do you think StarCraft? Do you think StarCraft players should be considered athletes? Or are you like, F no, man? Clicking a keyboard is not. You're not an athlete.
Oh, For crying out loud, a game's a game. I mean, chess at one point was a semi-Olympic sport. Bowling, you can smoke and drink while you play it, and they're athletes. Sure, why not? We talked about this on Derpy back when it happened, and really the benefits for the gamers, great. Recognition is always a good thing. And then, of course, the U.S. government being able to give and take the visas and get you in and out of the country a lot faster and tax you on your wages is, of course, great for them. So, all in all, cool. But it's like, can we make a committee though? Can
we make a committee though for professional athletes to go to assholery camp to learn how to not be douchebags?
You can only be a professional athlete if you live up to the etiquette of.
Well,
of
I mean,
trolling.
every sport has their what's his name? I don't know. What's the basketball player?
Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, no, Dennis Rodman.
I got on the first one.
Yeah, well,
sports.
he's like the degenerate, right? So it's like everybody's got that one degenerate guy who's going to do outrageous shit and say stupid things, and of course every sport needs one. But I don't know, the League of Legends one.
League of Legends has all of them.
There's all of them. Yes, like they need to go to like band camp and get some proper training.
Let's break them out over all the MOBAs at the very least. That way we only have to deal with them in segments.
So here's the question.
Well, let's be honest. No, and here's why I say this is because I think they really do. I think more teams should actually put them through like life training because they're young kids, right? And there's a lot of pressure being put on them, and they're like professional athletes.
But are there those regulations on, say, the NFL at all?
But here's no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, of course they do like crazy stuff, but it's what's it, one scandal a year in the NFL too. But I'm talking like these kids
leave their webcam on while they're naked.
Well, here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going with this. Here's where I'm going with this. Is if
murder a month in the NFL.
One dogfight, one murder, one whatever. Yeah. But my point is, to grow the esports, franchise business, however you want to call it, it needs big corporations with big money behind it to put their money behind things like advertising and get behind these kids. And the way these kids act, if I'm not going to put hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars up and then say, hey, slap my name on the back of your shirt and then go act like an ass.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
they do that. They do that. They do that with like the NFL. They do that with any professional sports that have a lot of money coming into them. Do you think that it would truly be a deterrent? Just because of that? Because it already happens.
I don't know. I just feel like they're a bunch of snot-nosed kids who are angry and they just lash out and they just need to learn that there's a... Well, the other thing is I think a lot of them are young, but there's also, we don't need another Justin Bieber or a whole shit ton of them like acting like jackasses because they have some money. They have tons of kids looking up to them, and I think they have to sort of realize the fact that there's tons of kids actually looking up to them.
There's a big difference here, though, and it's where the accountability comes in. And I make light of the NFL and things like that, but when you look at it as a business, as a sports business, the NFL is self-regulating. The rules come from the ownership of the league, not the sponsors of the players. Where inside League of Legends and these esports tournaments, the rules coming from the league or tournament hosts are rules regulating the game, not the conduct of the players. They don't self-regulate. So yeah, you have a sponsor throwing aside some key player now and then that makes news because they made some obscene comments or inflammatory remarks, but it's not self-regulating within it as a sport. It's more of a team has their own little rules they expect you to abide by. I think it's a bit of a different beast there.
So because they've been accepted as professional athletes here, does this mean that it could potentially go to the Olympics? Did it go to that
Come
level?
on, Chaffnet.
What's that?
Come on.
I'm just saying. If it's I mean, I get that it had to do with getting visas, but let's not. I mean, Byrne, you made the argument of like chess is a professional athlete supported thing, and isn't chess in the Olympics?
No, it wasn't in the Olympics. It was considered a cyber Olympic activity and was considered for Olympic competition at one point, but didn't make it. So I don't think you're going to see, again, you're going to see it in like the cyber side of things where you see more mental type activities rather than physical. It's not
mentalism.
We took out mentalism. Yeah, we took out wrestling. Let's replace it with Smite. That's what that's what they're thinking about and doing in Russia this coming year. So
makes a lot of
no,
sense.
you're not gonna see it in the Olympics. Get it the hell out of here.
I'm just saying, it'd be another small step for mankind.
Here's a question. So here's a question. So
first stop, middle lane. Next stop.
Yes. What do you guys think? Do you think So it was an interesting move, I think, when Riot really completely got behind, the League of Legends, tournament scene and how much money they're putting up. And then, did you guys see the news was that they sold out the Staples Center in Los Angeles in an hour, an hour. So talk about hey, there's some kids who I don't want to go watch this. But here's so they've sort of in a weird way
become the league itself,
become the NFL.
Yeah.
And they own the game, which is weird in itself to me. But do you think that they would ever open their league up to something bigger than just League of Legends in their game?
If they created another game, but why would they open up what they've done? I mean, because they've kind of come in and capitalized on that because that's their game. I mean, I guess you're saying that maybe they would pave the way and be like, "Hey, Smite, you want to get in on this?"
It seems like they're trying to pave the way to make this thing much bigger than anyone else has ever done it. MLG's been at it for years, but I don't think they ever really propelled this to the stratosphere. I think Riot possibly sees this going. So I don't know. They're probably not.
I think you might be onto something, but not from Riot's standpoint. I think more from Tencent's standpoint with their recent acquisition of the Smite franchise outside of the U.S. So I think there is some unifying force starting to put some things together. I think it's actually maybe a little bigger than Riot. But yeah, I don't think you're far off there, Mr. Gannon. Oh hell, even this late at night, your points are just.
I'm sharp as a
tack. I'm spot on. Well, I always thought. See, here's the thing. So before Riot started doing this, I always kind of thought we were talking about what would make esports really blow up, and I always said I think it's somebody like the NFL with a lot of money has to come in and put some real structure around this, like the NFL did with football, or the NBA, or we need that sort of structure. And then all of a sudden, Riot just came in and did it themselves, and they were just like, "Nope, we'll do it." Probably but I got to commend them because probably nobody else wants to do it.
Sure.
And they probably don't know how to do it. At least Riot understands what they need to kind of put in place.
I think Riot's just in a position with how big the game is and how much of a moneymaker it is that they can take the risk like that.
Yeah. The tax attorneys were like, "Hey, you bought your diamond encrusted Ferrari, but you seriously need to just spend $800 million this year." And they're like, "Okay."
If you don't, your taxes are going to eat you alive.
I guess some kids want to go watch some games. All right.
All right, let's open up the lines and keep this going. I think we have a somewhat follow-up question here, maybe just on the topic of League of Legends. I don't know. But caller on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
I'm Zach from Chicago, and I'm Mike Shaft's #1 fan.
Whoa! Mike Shaft's got a fan!
Is this Kiggles?
Zach Attack!
It sounds like Kiggles.
What? Kiggle? Who's Kiggles?
Yeah, it's Kiggles.
It's Kiggles. Well, I just got
You're
my
on a first-name basis with your #1 fan?
I was actually watching...
His first name was Zach. His first name wasn't Kiggles. Kiggles is definitely not someone's first name.
You're on a nickname basis with your #1 fan?
That's how deep I go.
Cool.
All right, Pumpkin.
Number 2 Aatrox NA. I have my question stolen, but I actually really enjoyed the EG ATN matches last weekend. They were really good. And I just feel like esports could be highlighted. And you were talking about the Olympics earlier. The IOC actually owns the Olympic brand, and you'd have professional teams that are professional players are allowed to play in the Olympic Games, soccer players from Europe and South America and hockey players from North America and Europe. They have contracts with the IOC, and what I would be asking is, you think an Olympics would take off? Do you think that would be good, where you could have Smite, you could have League of Legends, you could have StarCraft, you could have...
Well, it's sort of MLG, but just on a bigger scale, right? It's kind of like what MLG tries to do, but just on a more grander scale. So I don't know. That's why I was saying. That's why I brought up MLG before, and I'm like, have they tapped out? Like, have they kind of hit the ceiling on what MLG can do, or is the ceiling? I mean, obviously with League, the ceiling was much higher, and they can kind of do their own thing.
Well, it's ginormous in Korea, dude. Like StarCraft and League of Legends and all that stuff is like a
they're treated like rock
draw.
stars. You drive, there's like buses going by with like 14-year-old kids like on it with like a jumper.
But I think that's to its detriment, though, is that it's very, 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 very big in small pockets. It's not like soccer, which is a worldwide sport. You get a ball and you can play it. This isn't. It's very, very big in Korea. It's very, very big in the United States. You have pockets in China and Japan as well. I don't think it lends itself to an IOC type format, but could it be a little bigger than it is? Sure, why not?
I mean, it's gonna change, right? Because obviously, the other big thing with this is like, if you're between 20 and 50, you grew up and like probably your dad or some creepy guy down the street taught you how to play baseball, or threw a football around with you. You learned those rules pretty easily.
Wait,
I'm gonna teach my kid how.
Wait, raise your hand in chat room if you were taught baseball by some creepy guy down the street.
Did I miss that? I was thinking of my thought. I completely missed the fact that he said that.
Some creepy guy. Where did you learn baseball, Gannon?
Jersey.
There was this creepy guy. He didn't touch
He used
anybody.
to give us candy.
Yeah, but no, seriously. But you learn the rules of baseball and basketball and football. Like, you learn the rules of those games pretty early on. They're not that difficult to understand. They're taught in school. They were taught by your parents. It was very easy to kind of get that. Something like League of Legends, StarCraft takes much more of a commitment, right? Like, it's hard for the average person to just sit and watch that. Like,
Took me 2 years just to get into League of Legends and play the game and enjoy it.
But people who don't even like
to decide I hate this.
But people who don't even like sports can like go to a Super Bowl party and still enjoy themselves, right? Like, even because it's like a thing. But somebody who doesn't understand League of Legends probably is not going to have the best time at a League of Legends like Super Bowl party. Like, it's different. You have no concept of what's going on. It all just looks like colors and sparkles.
But to that point, I think that's why we haven't seen gaming catapult itself into that. That's why MLG has been struggling is because of that issue. And maybe why League of Legends has been so successful. It's not the easiest thing in the world to observe if you don't understand, but at the same time, it's a lot simpler to understand than, say, a Call of Duty match or a Halo match or any of the other competitions that have been in MLG. I think it's a lot easier. And granted, I have played it for a while.
How is it easier to watch League of Legends than it is to watch somebody shoot somebody else in the face?
Because it's easier to see which team, like you're seeing which team has the push back and forth, and you can visually see someone make a move or make team plays.
I think that they've done a great job educating League of Legends. I don't know. I think it's easier. I mean, it's like Halo games or fighting games, especially, right? I think fighting games so easy to watch. Anybody can watch like Street Fighter. There's like, that guy kicked him in the face. Oh, I guess that was good.
I'm more, and I know that outside of MLG, there's more than just first-person shooters. But for me, I think MLG, because back when I cared a lot about the MLG, it was more about Halo, and that was really it. But the shooter aspect of the MLG, I think, have a lot harder representation to watch from a tournament standpoint, at least with League, or at least with StarCraft. You're able to visibly see a push back and forth and appreciate it. Maybe not to the fine detail that the seasoned player does, but I think that goes to the same extent of watching football. You don't have to know the intricacies of football to sit down and watch the Super Bowl, but hundreds of thousands of millions of people still do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll disagree to this. We'll disagrry to disagree, Mike Shafton. We're good at this. We'll agree to disagree.
We'll disagree to disagree.
To agree.
Let's open other lines and take another call.
You're crazy.
Maybe move on.
You're crazy. Street Fighter's hard. Call of Duty's harder to watch.
Let's have the MMORPG guy on and start off with two MOBA questions.
Hey, this is a call in and ask anything you want question show.
Burns just here because we thought we were going to get 19,000 Final Fantasy XIV questions.
I
so it's
played
like
every MMORPG ever, and then come on, MOBA.
Ooh, hot mic,
MOBA,
hot mic,
MOBA.
hot mic, hot mic. What's that?
I think it's Skype because I opened Skype.
Oh, sweet.
So, caller, got on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Yeah, my name's Stephen Jones. I'm from Billings, Montana, and here's your Final Fantasy XIV question.
That's why we got Burn on the show.
Burns mostly,
All right, boys,
but,
take out your
do you
imaginary
think Square
popcorn. I
Enix
got
will
this.
have the error 1017 fixed for the NAEU before sub start? And if they don't, do you think they'll extend the free-to-play days or make us pay for a sub for a login simulator? I mean, Gary, would you pay for a sub? Would you pay a sub for your experience over the past few days?
No.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, neither would Burn. Burn has already said, like, yeah, he's a fanboy and he won't pay it. No, they need to get these things fixed, but I think that these issues will get fixed. But Burn, this was your question. It's your time to shine, brother.
Yes, I think they will get it fixed. In fact, we mentioned it on XIV Reborn, and Justin Kennedy just shot it to me. They announced they were going to do an update to the JP data center. Apparently what they forgot to put in that update, but then added in, and I'm about to push it out onto XIV Nation, is that NAEU is also getting an update to the data center with some new equipment and some new enhancements to try and fix this very quickly. We should see it early next week. So to answer your question, do I think it'll be implemented before the sub? Yes. Do I think we might see a couple extra days of freebie access anyway? I think it would be the right thing to do, so I wouldn't be surprised if Square did it. And I'm right along with you. I'm a Final Fantasy fanboy, but if 1017 goes all the way to the sub, I can't in good conscience pay a sub.
I support Mike's Burden's message.
He's such an ass.
I support this message, Mike Byrne.
All right, let me just
I
take
am
my
gonna vote
hands to
for
the
you.
desk. Sorry.
I am going to vote for you, sir. Well said.
All right, let's open up the lines and take another caller. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Hey guys, this is Carrie from Moreno Valley. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Howdy.
Pretty good, pretty good. A little buzzed, actually, which is actually
it's the best way to do the show.
High on life.
Just what I'm going to say, you know.
What are you buzzed on? Drinking? You smoking some marijuana?
Really?
What are you
you're just gonna make the guy call himself out right here, right now.
Hey, he brought it up, not me.
I'm
Now that we know where you live, can we
right
get
now.
the street address too?
Moreno Valley is only an hour away, so
Yeah, really. What do you have? A little kicking back with a little brewski? What?
Hey, this is the first time I called in. Y'all could come down, hang. We can, make some bacon cheeseburgers and have some sake.
Still haven't said what you're buzzed off of, though, sir. That's gonna dictate whether it's a good time or not.
Maybe he wants to keep that under wraps. What's your question?
My question is, actually, I just got done playing a drinking game, so this is my question. What are your favorite types of activities while you guys are drinking? Do you guys play, like, board games? Do you guys, like, watch movies and take shots based on, like, events that happen in the movie? Like, the drinking game that me and my friends actually just got done playing was watching Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring, and you have to take a shot every time Boromir gets tempted by the ring.
Okay, all right. Drinking games. I think I just drink all the time. So
Gary's drinking game is Star Wars Galaxies.
I don't really have a game.
Yeah.
The chat room's made a game, but yeah, I'm usually just drunk.
This drinking game is, how fast can I get this lid off?
Yeah, that's pretty much the game, right? How much longer do I have to be sober?
Sounds like a great game.
No, I think we do like the board game once in a while. We're getting a night together. We're getting a nerd night. I don't know if I can do the role. I don't know if I can do the role play, the tabletop thing anymore. But I think we've moved on, and now we're talking about we play Game of Thrones, the board game, and we've got Tanner House, which is another board game. So
you more plop out. You don't have like necessarily a system in place, because some people have like South Park drinking rules.
SWG. There's people. Everyone's drunk on the stream now. We're just like, what?
I don't know. Like I think it depends on the environment and the situation that you're in. Like I personally like social games. When you're sitting around a bunch of people that want to be social, but I think some of my favorite, like one of my favorite games, not that I'm advocating people to be drunk but you're playing video games and not driving. Is every time you wipe in a raid or you like kill someone, you take a shot or take a drink. That raid is probably one of the fastest raids that goes to shit. But
I was gonna say, doesn't that seem a bit counterintuitive?
No, it's so much fun. Or like my friend and I that I arenaed with, every time we lost an arena, we would drink. So it would just it would just get worse and worse.
Let's play the 10-17 drinking game. Every time you get 10-17, you have to drink. There you go.
10 minutes after this show, I'm gonna die of alcohol poisoning.
Sorry, I'm not coming into work tomorrow. That's it. Shows are canceled all over. What about you, Bernd? You're being mighty quiet.
Yeah. I play there's two different card games that we stick to. Obviously everybody plays Asshole, right? Everybody knows Asshole. So that's the main one. And then we play a game called Captain Dickhead as well. And then there's like this oddball like betting game where you give somebody two different questions off of a card and everybody has to bet their answer. Like you'd ask Gary, okay, would you rather have to sneak through airport security with a duffel bag full of 100 3-ounce shots, 3-ounce bottles of vodka, or a bag with a human foot in it? And everybody has to bet what Gary's reply would be, and there's drinks on the table. Great little game.
Is that kind of it? Sounds kind of like Cards Against Humanity, almost.
We do a lot of Cards Against Humanity in my house.
Right.
All right. Well, hang on. I gotta go get a drink.
Gary's gonna go drink. So while he goes and pours a beer, because I don't know why he didn't offer before, because he usually every time before After Dark. Let's go. Real quick, while Gary gets a drink, I want to tell you guys about a sponsor that we have here. Told you guys at the top of the show, but that's right, Netflix. Netflix is an amazing sponsor that a lot of guys have been asking, hey, where'd Netflix go? They didn't go anywhere. They're still here. You can still sign up right now by heading over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. It's that easy. And you'll get access to, the best part about not talking about Netflix, I have so much to talk about now. I used Netflix so much in like the past 3-4 months. I can tell you guys how amazing Breaking Bad is now. I can actually talk about Breaking Bad.
Is there any other way to watch TV at this point? Like, I feel like I do not watch anything not on Netflix. I don't know how people don't have it. I don't know. I really don't know. And now, in the time of the internet, with the interwebs and crazy life, I have no idea how people don't have Netflix.
Well, here's honestly what's great. And dang, it's right off I'm going to have to move the screen a little bit. But here's what's great. All right, so I just recently, Kevin Hart just released a brand new movie, which was hilarious. I'm a huge Kevin Hart fan, and if you guys like, stand-up comedy, I highly recommend that you guys watch Kevin Hart specials. He just released a movie. A lot of people, when they walk out of like a movie like that, especially if it's stand-up comedy, like, oh, I want to see more of that. Louis C.K., another great example. They have stand-up comedy available on Netflix. And so the first thing that I did after I got out of the
oh my god, I've watched every Louis C.K. stand-up on Netflix.
It's great. Oh, yeah. I think he's got like 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 specials, I think, on Netflix. But stand-up comedy is such a great thing. The other thing that's great about Netflix is series. I absolutely hate watching television series as they come out in reality, because waiting that week is excruciating, and Netflix just gives it to you all at once. So it's great. If you guys haven't checked out Netflix, you should definitely do so by heading over to Gamebreaker.tv or Netflix.com.
Get rid of this one. This is cheap.
I was trying to do that. Look at that. We had just got through the ad, and I had Gary back. I was going to throw to another caller, but clearly he won't drink cheap wine, champagne.
Well, he does drive a Bugatti, according to chat. So I can understand why Mr. Gannon would not indulge in the cheap wine.
Of course not. All right, Gary's back. Let's open up the lines and get another caller on here. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker.
I got tequila instead.
After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's Marco from Serbia. Anyway, about the drinking, I once played entire morning of Dota 2 while wasting on a bottle of scotch, and my score was pretty high.
It's pretty good. What kind of scotch?
It's some lower grade, not even worth mentioning. But a drink is a drink.
It's true. If it's liquor, drink it up.
Yeah. Anyway, my question was, do you guys think Blizzard games, World of Warcraft, or when it comes to it, the Titan would ever include some procedurally generated elements, maybe a zone in World of Warcraft, or a subcontinent or a continent in some future expansion, or maybe even a zone instance or something like that?
I would say I would doubt a zone or an instance. I would say if they would spend the time and develop the technology around doing procedurally generated content, that you'd see a lot more of it than just a zone. I don't know. Would they? I would. I mean, I guess at the very least, maybe at some point we might see procedurally generated dungeons, so they somewhat change from time to time. When you actually roll into them, you don't know exactly the layout or the structure. They've had a lot of problems with trying to do stuff like that and actually keep balance and make them correct. But I think for the amount of technology and coding that goes into just building a procedurally generated game, that they would probably, if Blizzard or anyone else goes that route, they're probably going to go the full, just go all the way out, and that is part of the game.
And I think
kind of like EQ Next.
I think that's why, as it stands, procedurally generated content doesn't fit the mold of World of Warcraft. It just doesn't. It's not built for it. They can't. I don't want to say they can't create a zone, but it just doesn't.
Well, he's saying Titan.
But he did mention World of Warcraft in there, so I'm just kind of following up and saying I don't think World of Warcraft will see it. But because of, obviously, and not even just because of what we saw with EQ Next, but because we've seen them kind of pull the reins back on Titan, I think it's a little bit more safe to say that they'll take things like EverQuest Next style into account, even if they weren't considering it before the announcement. Maybe now they're looking at how they could potentially integrate it into Titan and go that route with it. I don't know. Blizzard's never been one to not take good ideas. And I think procedurally generated is one of those good ideas.
Take is a lovely word for steal, Chef. Very nice. That's very nice. No, you're not going to see it. I don't think you're going to see it in World of Warcraft. You might see it in Titan, but there's nothing more to say. Gary, you hit it spot on. It would be the dungeons first before anything.
It would be dungeons. I think it's either going to be the entire game is built on that technology, or maybe the dungeons. But I feel like it's not an easy thing to kind of build. And I don't know. Kind of comes with a whole philosophy of like the design of the game. So I doubt it would just be limited down to like a zone or something.
Sidebar: Square Enix just halted digital download sales.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Temporary measure halting Final Fantasy Reborn digital download products so we can accommodate all wishing to play.
Wow, the last company I remember doing that. Last company I remember doing that was a little company called BioWare with Star Wars: The Old Republic. Last company
that's obviously that's good for the players, so they're not getting over inundated at this point. But what do you think that's going to do in terms of necessarily the press in terms of demand for the game? To shut down digital sales.
That's the oh shit moment. That's the oh shit moment.
Much.
Oh shit, we can't handle this. We can't even take more money.
We can't even sell the game anymore.
We can't sell the game because something right now is effed.
But I mean, that's still really it's a bad sign per se, but it's also really good to think that they would rather.
It's actually a trend now, though, and we saw it with Guild Wars too.
To have them come out here and say, look, like we understand that we need to stop selling this game and preserve the quality of life for the players that are already involved in the game.
You've just entered the spin zone.
I'm just trying to look at it in a different light to create conversation on the topic. It's not necessarily, it's not good by any means, but can't you say that, Mike, wouldn't you be happy if this means that you can consistently log into the game?
Hell yeah, because I already shelled out my money.
See?
Piss on you that was going to buy it this week.
So you snooze, you lose.
But how does this not scare? How does this not like scare the crap out of both of you guys and say, "Hey, what is going on over there that you can't even keep selling your game right now because you're too afraid that none of this is going to work"? That's scary.
What do you mean too afraid? None of it works.
I know.
Too afraid that it's not going to work. None of it works. Once you get in, totally different story. But part of the announcement is saying that they're also updating the server capacity in the coming days. So as a potential customer, if I hadn't bought it yet, that kind of tells me, well, that sucks. I can't buy it. Apparently, they got beat a little bit. But looks like they're upgrading some things. I'll look at it next week. It doesn't give me a positive or negative vibe. It just tells me I'm going to come back on this one. And if I come back, great. If I don't, oh well. Square Enix lost the sale. But they're already getting more. They're already getting more.
Help me! Gary's got the box.
I just wanted to look at it.
I don't. Hey, it says Terra on it still.
Terrible.
All right. Well, I've got a bad feeling. Good thing I'm by the TVs. If he throws it at me and I duck, he's gonna pay the price back here. So we'll see how this plays out. Let's open up the lines and take another caller. Caller on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
Hello.
Hello.
This is John from Northern California.
Hello, John.
Hello.
What's up? So I've been playing XIV when I can, and it's actually like really fun. But I know you guys have said that, you know, it's not really like the most innovative game, but it's a very Final Fantasy game. Kind of like the IP drives the game. But I feel like when you guys are talking about the Elder Scrolls Online, you say that, but it's like in a more negative way. Like Elder Scrolls is generic for not necessarily being more innovative, but in that the Elder Scrolls IP isn't really necessarily driving. It's like you kind of say like, I feel like they're the same thing, but you say like the Elder Scrolls is kind of negative, but the Final Fantasy XIV is like in a positive thing. So I'm not sure.
I think
why that is.
That's just your question was why the differentiation between Elder Scrolls negativity and Final Fantasy's positivity?
Yeah, because I mean I feel like they're kind of the same thing. Like, you know, not necessarily being innovative, but you know the IP is driving the game.
Well, I think, and I mean, a lot of the conversation that we had about this was between Josh and I think that part of the negativity of the Elder Scrolls is specifically dealing with the fact that I don't want to say single player because I understand what you're getting at here, but I think that, gosh, I don't know, Bern, do you think that there's kind of the same? Okay, here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. I don't see what they're bringing to the Elder Scrolls game as the staples of what they're doing with XIV Reborn. And when I'm talking about the positivity of what they're doing with XIV is that they're bringing limit breaks and summons and all these things that are so iconic to what Final Fantasy truly are, and making it supposedly making the game about those elements. That's what's captivating. That's why a Final Fantasy fan would play XIV. I don't see that as much. I don't see them embracing and encapsulating all of the elements that Elder Scrolls fans really love about Elder Scrolls and putting that into a multiplayer setting. I don't know, Bern, do you agree?
I don't think. I think now we keep them in a bit of a separate light because we've all had hands-on time with Final Fantasy. And so we say it's more traditional, but the IP sells it and everything, and it kind of means a good thing. You know, all the IP is great. I just think with the Elder Scrolls, we don't know so much about that game that right now it's only the IP that sells it to a lot of people, because even the messages coming out have been confused. Well, it's an MMO. Well, no, we don't want to say MMO anymore. We don't want to say MMO. It's more of a multiplayer thing. And then we see a stream, and then we see leaked footage. We just don't know so much about that game that really all we have to talk about selling it right now is the IP.
Gary,
Final Fantasy just gets the benefit of more information now.
Was there any restrictions on what we can say of what we got to see at E3?
No, that was a public play.
See, and that's the other thing is I've had my hands on it, and it didn't feel at all Elder Scrolls to me. It just kind of felt generic.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, it felt. I think it felt a little. I don't know. We talk about Elder Scrolls all the time, and I just don't know. Like it's some of the decisions that and the messaging that we get. I just go like, okay, like I don't know.
And that's the thing. It's the unidentification of what's going into Elder Scrolls. Whereas where I'm standing from the positivity of like, I think what Final Fantasy is doing here and accommodating to the Final Fantasy fans is the right way to go, is because they're taking things. You can identify Limit Break, summons, Magitech armor. They're taking these things and putting them in.
Elder Scrolls are doing the RPG story stuff. I mean, if you look at the story sequences that they've actually shown, it feels like, Elder Scrolls, like the way the camera pushes in down and the way the menus look and everything, how you choose things, it feels very Elder Scrolls. We know they're putting in first-person mode into Elder Scrolls, so that's going to be, more Elder Scrolls-esque. I get the sense to me that I feel like there's nothing that's blown me away in the design of it yet for a veteran MMO player, but I don't know if that's who they're going for here. I think they're going after the Elder Scroll console player and going to bridge them into an online world of Elder Scrolls. And they...
So you think we should have a little bit more positivity towards it because of that then? Because if that's the case, it's exactly what the caller was kind of suggesting. Why don't we have the positivity for Elder Scrolls as we do for Final Fantasy if they're kind of trying to embrace the same philosophies?
I mean, we have very limited knowledge, but when the limited stuff that we've seen, personally, it hasn't blown me away. Like I've said this on Twimo, right? When we went to E3, I sort of feel like in a public setting like that, where you're going to have people sit down and try this game for the first time, you should be giving them a sliver of the world that they're going to encounter something and do something that when their time was up, we were just going to look at each other and be like, holy crap.
Right.
Like that was awesome. Like there was some monumental, like cool thing that happened. And it wasn't that. They just kind of like let you go. We did a bit of a dungeon crawl. It felt like any little dungeon crawl I've done in like every MMO that I've ever played, to be honest. And I just went, okay, all right. I don't have much of an opinion, and that's what I'm a little bit afraid about. And some of the statements scare me a little bit because I think that they may think that just the Elder Scrolls IP alone is what's going to sell this game. And Star Wars, hey, hello, like I don't think people may initially buy it just like they did Star Wars. I don't know if they're gonna, people won't stay if it's not a very solid game. So I don't know. And then you hear the stuff that they can talk about publicly, like you heard a lot about. Scott Hawks from ZAM and Richie Procopio got to play actually in a setting where they grouped up, and a lot of the grouping was a little bit weird and it was very confusing. And you were on trying to do the same quest, but you on different paths and zoning, and all of a sudden you wouldn't be with each other, and it was like, how is this a multiplayer experience? I don't know. So there's just a lot of things that are confusing. High level, end level content we keep getting mixed messages about. They're talking about, I can't remember off the top of my head what they're called. Burn, do you remember? Not the Adventure Zone's chat room will remind me what they call the very high level end game. But they pretty much, I think, last word we've heard is publicly like they don't think that that's going to be in the game at launch. So it's like, okay, how many MMOs have we seen not launch with solid end game and solid PvP and kind of really not work out? I don't know. So I'm not cutting Elder Scrolls off. I'm going to play it. I'm an Elder Scrolls fan. I'm just waiting for them to really turn up the juice a little bit and show. There's got to be some stuff in there that just kicks ass, right? I mean, it's Elder Scrolls. There's no way.
Sure.
So I'm just waiting for them to like, let's see it.
I think I think that big moment's got to come for them soon, though. Otherwise, they're going to be treading water for a while with the kind of meh reactions I feel like that has come out for it. And for the more people get their hands on it. Let's go ahead and just move on. Let's open up the lines again and take another call. Caller, you're on line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
Hey guys, it's Adam from Ontario, Canada. And
hello, sir.
Sup?
Hey, you're not fanning those data centers for XIV, are you?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Did you? Did you? All right.
Sorry. What? Anyway,
inside joke. Way inside.
It's an inside joke. I mean, I was watching the whole thing. I don't know about the whole data center thing, but
probably even not an inside joke.
It's where the
on
Final
this show.
Fantasy servers are. They're in Canada. I made a joke about you fanning them. Maybe you kick the wire out.
There aren't even many people inside that building.
No.
Anyway,
Burn is the only person who got the joke. So go ahead.
Anyway, what do you guys think about Star Citizen and their hangar module coming out on the 29th? And what do you guys think about how they're developing the game in chunks until the full game comes out, where most developers kind of do like this one big crunch at the end and then release the game? What do you guys kind of think about where Star Citizen is going?
I think this was a fantastic article I'm going to read right now on Gamebreaker TV. This just proves that I don't read everything on Gamebreaker TV. I didn't get to read this one yet. I saw it and meant to read it, but we were in crazy migration mode over the whole weekend, and I've been backed up. So let's see. The Star Citizen Hangar module is coming. The much anticipated and highly backed space trading and combat simulator. Okay, what is this? First and foremost, the Hangar module will load next week.
Justin, I love rather than go to you or me and give him some cover to read this.
I was totally going to go to Burn. I wasn't expecting to pull out the article.
Okay, I can roll with this. I'm a professional. I'm a professional. First and foremost, the Hangar module you will load next week is by no means a finished product. It is the earliest build of anything I have ever shared with the public. In fact, it's at an even earlier stage than I would feel comfortable giving to any publisher I've worked with in the past, and long before I would be sharing builds with Q&A. Oh, I'm excited because I'm a backer of this. I'm going to get this? What is this? All right, so the Vision 1...
Get your news ready. You know, on a daily basis.
Will be very simple. Wait, I'm reading. Don't interrupt Mr. Star Citizen. He's very serious. Should I read this? Wait, Star Citizen is all about the RP. Should I read this in character?
I don't know.
All right. I won't. You will be able to walk around, enter the initial pledge ships, and explore a ground-level and cry engine that shows the kind of detail we're putting into the full game. Holy shit, I'm excited. It is intended as a very basic example of our direction we're putting forward. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So they're going to release the module where you're going to get to like walk around the ship that you bought. Damn, what ship did I buy again? I bought that really sleek, badass 510. I read... hang on, this is really important stuff here.
This is really important. Let me read up on this during the show instead of letting someone who probably knows about the topic talk about it.
No, I'm going to Robert
like 3
Space
weeks
Industries.
Ago on Twimo, he's flipping through PDF files looking that are advertisements for the different Star Citizen airships. We're talking about something on Twimo, and he's shopping for starships.
I read so many pamphlets, I don't remember which one I bought. All right, do you guys know anything about this? You don't? Huh? Go ahead.
The hangar is cool. Building in modules is risky, obviously, because you got to connect them all. But I'm a huge hopeful for Star Citizen. Jeff?
Yeah, me too. I've just got to agree with everything that Burn said. You see how easy that is, Gary? Do you see?
Hang on,
let
I'm
him
finding it.
answer, and then I just piggyback off his answer.
Damn, which ship did I buy? Oh, the Avenger? Maybe it was the Avenger? Did I buy the 300i sounds really familiar.
All right,
but
well,
I
while Gary
don't remember.
contemplates which ship he bought, let's open up the lines and go to another caller. Caller on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name.
Can I download
Tell
this
us where
yet?
you're
Can,
from.
I'm excited.
Tell us your question. Gary's probably in his own little world, so it's just me and Burn for now. What's up?
Hello. Hello, this is Mohammed from Saudi Arabia.
How's it going, Mohammed?
Mohammed, are you in Star Citizen? Are you gonna play?
I don't think so.
You're right up that same alley as Gary is. All right, what question you got for us, Mohammed?
Well, Gary scared me a little bit, but my question is, Blizzard has just announced the Diablo 3 expansion. Are you guys excited about it? What are the features are you guys excited about the most? I'm excited about the new Paragon system. That's one of the things that I'm very excited about because it will be account-wide and all of your characters, all the new characters you make.
Right, share all the same.
Yeah, also it will remove some of the requirements on some gear, like a crit chance. If you find like let's say a gloves that doesn't have a crit chance, you will vendor it right away right now. But with the new Paragon system, you won't have to vendor it. You can keep it gloves.
Am I able to upgrade my ship to the Idris? Is that possible?
Yeah,
Burn, is that possible?
In the Diablo expansion pack? Wait, what are we talking about now? No.
Damn.
So Burn, have you been keeping up at all on some of the new stuff that's coming to Diablo 3 at all?
No, hold on. I'm gonna go to Gamebreaker here. I'm sure
Gamebreaker. If you guys haven't read up on these articles, head on over to Gamebreaker.tv. You can read up on all
I'm
of
sure
it.
Because we sure as hell
there's
don't.
one here. No, I mean I own Diablo 3. I don't know the last time it patched. I'm not too overly pumped for the expansion, sadly. I'll buy it just because I'm a sucker for Diablo, but it's not at the top of the shopping list.
See, here's the thing. I've read up on all of the changes. I think there's a lot of cool things that they're doing. For me, a big part of what's so exciting about Diablo is its lore. Anything Blizzard does, its lore is always so well done. And I may just not know what's going on. Supposedly this was like an archangel that fell back in Diablo 2 that's coming back. But that to me was intriguing and exciting of like where this guy's coming from and what he's doing. In terms of features that I'm excited for, I'm kind of the opposite of you, Bern. Like, I'm excited for the game, but I'm so miffed off my experience playing the original, I don't think I'm going to buy it right away. I'm not really completely sold on it just because it's like, okay, with another 10 levels just to continue grinding. I think what really burned me with Diablo was the repetitiveness of going through all 4 difficulties just being the same. And me personally, maybe I'm just over the whole age of my life where all I want to do is grind for better loot. So I don't know if I'm sold just on the features alone.
You never outgrow that, Chapman, ever.
I don't know. I can't do it
I've got
anymore.
a couple years on you. I'm still looting. Still looting.
But I mean, I think that I think a Crusader is the new class that's coming, and there's a lot of really cool things, like kind of new awesome spell animations, and adding a new class is definitely awesome. I'm also still a little miffed that we don't have the PvP system. Like, if you're going to announce, I played that back at BlizzCon 2 years ago and had so much fun. Literally, my first experience playing Diablo 3, and only experience before I bought the game, was playing it at BlizzCon and playing their arena. And that was enough for me to say, I don't even care, I'm going to buy this game. And the fact that they took it out was so frustrating for me, and I just want to see it back in the game. I don't care if it's unbalanced. I don't care. It's fun. I don't know.
I'll buy it, but I'm not pumped.
Bern's going to buy it. He's not pumped. I'm pumped, but I'm not going to buy it. So, chat room, you guys figure that one out. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Hi, my name's Dom, and I'm addicted to Hearthstone.
Yes, you have a problem.
Hi, Dom.
I need help.
I am as well. Have you?
I have.
It's
I have
okay.
98
Just
hours logged in the game, and I've spent over $50.
Just so you know, there are other people just like you. It's totally.
Dom,
totally
I hear though that you played against J.K. Kennedy and he wiped the floor with you for about 6 matches and you couldn't turn it around and beat him. So I'm just gonna say you might have a problem, but I think you need to go work on your decks like Gary.
I don't have no defense over this Shaman Murloc deck combination that he has. This thing is
I hate
ridiculous.
shamans, but for the
I hate
record.
Murlocs.
But for the record, just to rub it in your face even more, I beat JK on my first attempt. So just saying, if you really want to come out and duel me, I'm all game. I saw you challenge me on Twitter, but you best watch your back. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it.
All right, man. What's
As long
up?
as you don't have
What
Murlocs,
question you
I
got?
got you. I need help. I need Hearth Nation. I need a Hearthstone Anonymous group. Somebody needs to help me.
I think you might need to make sure you're going to the right HAA because it's Hearth. I've learned that the hard way. It's not Hearth, it's Hearth. And those internet comments will eat you alive. So make sure you're in
you're
the,
a
make sure
terrible writer, Shafnet.
sure
inside joke.
make sure you're checked into the right service. No, I mean is that your question? How do you get help? Because it's a great game. It's a great game.
Help.
He's addicted. He needs help. Dude, check out this sweet.
Gary's
300i.
still on
See?
Star Citizen.
There he goes.
I even went on Audible. I registered an account through Gamebreaker. I got my first audiobook to try to lure me away. I got
That's not I support you going to Audible and doing that, but Audible is the perfect service for using while you play.
While you're
Hearthstone.
playing.
But I found that was the problem. That was the next
So is
thing. I
Netflix.
found myself listening to
Hearthstone. It does.
and playing
It has that
Hearthstone.
effect on you. It's like you just play it and you're like one more game, one more
But
match,
what's
one more match,
even better
one
is
more
that
match.
you can play one more match without even paying attention to it. You can have it open on a second monitor, watching TV, eating dinner, and like click, click, click. All right, cool. Oh, it's my turn again. Click, click, click. All right, cool.
I could
It
play
is
Train
super
Simulator and
addictive.
Hearthstone at the same time.
It's true.
You could.
Double
You
live
totally
stream right
could.
there.
Dual live stream. There you go. It's a pastime during Train Simulator. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's a good game. It's a lot of fun and it's super addictive.
It is.
But that's not a bad thing. I've never been this excited about a card game in a long time. Played Magic back in the day for a while. I was a little bit of a Magic nerd. Not huge, but I definitely played for a couple years. Nah, I haven't played a TCG or a CCG. I don't think I've ever really got into one online. I tried playing what's the orcs and not orcs and what's
OCD. Order and Chaos.
Yeah. Order and Chaos. I played that one a little
That
bit.
one's got nothing on Hearthstone.
No, there's just an addictive quality about Hearthstone. I can't really explain it. Yeah, no, at least you're having fun.
Truth. All right, I think we got one more caller, but before we do, while we get them on the line, let's just throw out to a quick question, quick shotgun answer from each of you guys. This letter comes in
lightning round
from Brendan
on
Bowers.
1710 Eorzea.
Elder Scrolls Online, EverQuest Next, or WildStar? Which are you more excited for? EverQuest Next might be the spiritual successor to Star Wars Galaxies.
EverQuest Next. Lightning round. Go, Mike Bird.
The WildStar.
EverQuest Next. All right, we got a caller on the line again. Let's open up the lines and get this show moving again before
serious
anyone
lightning
can judge
round.
our opinions. Caller on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Incognito Alex from Britain.
Nice to have you on the show. That's such a contrast to the way that we were just talking.
Is this the Count Dracula? Could you just say, I want to suck your blood?
Oh my God.
No.
Could you say that?
Just tell him no and just ignore him.
Come on, just say
ignore him. What's your question?
I have two questions. One for Gary and for the rest of the crew. Gary, I know you're a gun owner. That's correct?
That is correct, sir.
Then why does your aim suck when you throw the box?
Listen, I'll cut off your second question because all you're doing is asking for him to throw the box at me. I will cut off your second question.
I like the count.
Sorry. The public demands blood.
It's clear that they do. It's clear. What else you got for us?
Missing shots fired.
From all the movies, anime, and books, which one of those titles you want to see remade in a game?
Hey, wait, is this John Miller?
No.
Oh. We had a very similar...
It's the Count Dracula.
You did say your name was John,
from
though, right?
Transylvania.
No.
Oh.
No. You called me from chat.
Okay. My
The
apologies.
bastard that called you last week.
He calls all the time.
So then which anime, comic book, what was the other one?
I don't care about any of those things.
What was the other one that you wanted to see turned?
I want to see the 300i hanger mode from
Carrie's in his own little world
RSI.
and has been for the past 10 minutes.
Is it bad? I don't watch anime. I don't
think it's bad that you don't watch anime. Sometimes it's
Did I lose
for
nerd cred?
everyone. I love it, and I'll tell you right now, it's not for everyone. Like, I've tried to make my roommate watch it 100 times, and he's just like, I just do not understand it. And some people just don't.
Kind of like Kanye.
It's exactly like Kanye.
Anime is exactly like Kanye, so people just don't get it.
Burn, I don't know. Is there any avoiding comics and anime, is there any IP out there that we'd really like to see turned into? I believe you said a game, right?
Oh, is it IP? Does it have to be
Well, he
comic?
said comics or anime, but I'm going to generalize it since you're just going to say how much you hate anime.
I need to see my dog Sophie.
I could go for a Cowboy Bebop video game. I think that would be.
You still want to see that Cowboy Bebop? You still want to see that Cowboy Bebop movie?
Yeah, hell yeah. Comic book. I don't know. I'm such a sucker for Batman, and that IP is in its stride right now. So, on comic books, I'm fine. I'm doing fine on comic books.
Speaking of stride in comic books and Batman, what do you think about Ben Affleck?
Oh, that we're gonna go there.
We're gonna go there because that was the Twitter question.
Hey, Ben Affleck as Batman is still better than Tim Tebow as a quarterback. So it all works out.
I've got to say, I mean, and a lot of people were bringing up, I think, a really good argument that a lot of people thought Heath Ledger was going to do an atrocious job as the Joker, and everyone turned around and loved him. Not saying that he couldn't have done it on his own.
Heath Ledger was being considered for Batman. I was, man,
they're gonna bring him back in CGI.
It's gonna be dark as shit.
I mean, I think it's tough because I used to take Ben Affleck as a joke in terms of an actor, but lately when he stepped into being a director, I've loved every one of the movies he's directed. Argo was phenomenal, and I'm just ready to put him into any role that he wants to try and step into after Argo. So I'm okay with Ben Affleck stepping in. I think the problem, and it's unfortunate that it's going to fall on Ben Affleck's head.
The problem is Miley Cyrus hasn't been casted yet. That's the problem. If Miley Cyrus is in the next Batman, I am all in.
Twerking? You want a twerking Batman?
We've had worse. I think Ben will do fine. We've had worse.
I think it'll be good. I think
we've
it'll be
had
good.
Kilmer. We've had Clooney. We'll survive through Ben Affleck.
I think it'll be well cast. All right, so
I read a great article today on Miley Cyrus. It's really good. I'm not kidding. It's on Business Week. It's fantastic.
Was it the article that talks about how the society's too worried about the latest crazy news and we're not paying attention to the Fukushima radiation?
I'm trying to look for it. It actually breaks down. What's the name of that crap song? What is it?
I don't know what song. I don't listen to Miley Cyrus.
No, what's the new one that she just did on the VMAs and it's,
where she danced with Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I don't know. Chat room will remind me what it's called. But it breaks down what the song's actually about.
Blurred Lines. Thank you, Chad.
No, that's Robin Thicke.
Yeah, he sang it with her. That was
but she did her
VMA
song before.
thing.
We Can't Stop. We Can't Stop. We Can't Stop is literally about what's the drug? God, it's not MMD. It's about. It sounds like a really happy, fun party song. It's about being addicted to drugs.
I think it would be absolutely ironic if it was called "We Can't Stop Paying Attention to Ridiculous, Stupid Celebrities."
MDMA. It's about MDMA. They break it down and it's amazing. You read it and they show all the imagery of the video and you're just like, holy shit! Like this song sounds like it's a party anthem, like summer hit, and she's like, we're fucking addicted to MDMA and we're just out partying all night and now I just want to hurt myself.
Yeah, because she's troubled. You could tell that when you saw her at the VMAs.
It's brilliant.
I just always have flashbacks of Peter Griffin when he was talking to, in one of the flashbacks, he said, "You look sticky." Miley Cyrus looks sticky.
Wow, is the show over?
The show is over.
Wow.
In an hour. You lost half the show because you were looking up Star Citizen. Mike Byrne, you can follow him right down there at MagicMan1. Be sure to catch him over on XIV and Twemo. And all over on freetoplay.tv. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Mike.
Anytime. Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We will need you in probably about 2 weeks when Gary goes out of town, so I'll hit you up about that.
Sounds good.
Mr. Gannon, checking out some Star Citizen Starships.
Oh, yeah.
You can follow him right there at Gary Gannon. Yeah, whatever. No one really cares. You guys can follow me right down here at Mike Schaffnitz. Thank you guys for watching. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. PDT, PST. We do this show live and take your calls. So if you guys haven't tried calling in live, consider it. Come hang out with us. We'd love to chat with you guys. Please check out Waypoint. I do a bunch of them. I do World of Warcraft and League of Legends. Those go up every Tuesday and Thursday, so check those out on Gamebreaker TV. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, and check out Mike Burns. Hey, there's also a new Waypoint. Not just the ones that I do. There's Final Fantasy XIV Waypoints that goes up, I don't know, Thursdays? Fridays. So check that out now. Hosted by
Kat. Amazing lady. Check it out.
Check that out, guys. Thank you so much. If you guys have not followed us on Twitter at Gamebreaker TV, please do that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.